Oh, the fucking irony. The fucking irony. It has come to pass yet again. What do I mean? Remember when Microsoft's DRM policy came in and basically we heard wonderful words of wisdom from that good old saint Don Matrick, who got up and said, if you don't want to deal with our DRM and don't always have online, just get an Xbox 360. Fuck the rest of you. Of course, next thing Microsoft did was they had, and of course there was the Larry Herb saying incorrect things when in reality was more than less than true. Or Larry Herb, aka Major Nelson. Oh, how everything has collapsed into a ball of shit. Microsoft's at it again, and oh fuck, they just went to balls to the walls. They have gone into the complete batshit crazy area. Besides now censoring shipping everybody for swearing on fucking the skydive, and even banning them on their Skype accounts. That's a brilliant thing. Listening in, seeing if anyone says anything just profoundly, has just so much as a potty mouth, has to be banned and their accounts just locked out. And it's beyond fucking ridiculous. Major Nelson needs to quit his, or Larry Herb needs to just literally quit his job at Microsoft and just work for any corporation other than EA or Microsoft. Just go work, hell, go work for fucking Sony. At least they're not double dealing, backstabbing little shitholes, shitters. But Microsoft, after forcing Don Matrick out and following all this bullshit, and, with the DRM crap, has decided, and I knew this was coming because I listened to Blackbuster critics shows for a while ever since this mess had begun, and he was putting out these warnings, and of course what he got from the Xbox fanboys was to have his account banned for no fucking reason. Just because, they're dicks. And after the fucking console, a week after the fucking console comes out, you dumbasses get up there and finally start to complain. Or at least and then the rest of you who was out there protecting Microsoft are now starting to fucking bitch. What? Why am I not surprised that this shit happened again? A second time? Why Microsoft has decided to screw their gamer over again? And I'm not talking about the censorship. No. Microsoft has decided to take 3 of their fucking games that came out for Xbox, and everybody's now finally getting off their asses and bitching about it. A week after this fucking mess. And here's what the deal is. Forza Motorsports 5, Rise, which is not a very good game, apparently by the review critics, and Crimson Dragon, which is also not a very good game, but the highly rated, Forza 5, had decided to stick nothing but microtransitions all over the fucking place, like a motherfucker. Why? Because their DRM shit failed. It failed. They had to go and fire people over this. Adam Oath lost his job. Oh, I'm sorry. He decided to depart. There's a lot of people who decided to depart the Microsoft little way that's been happening over this mess. I mean, now an actual employee of Microsoft who was working for 343 Studios, she quit her job. She quit. She legitimately quit her job and is now working over at Naughty Dog. Because probably the next Halo game, Halo 5, is going to be riddled with microtransactions. Hey, you want to get that Shepherd hat for your multiplayer? $12. Fork it over, bitch. And yeah, these are $70 games. And I'm well aware that the mobile department area, Rikio, whatever their fucking names are, they decided to really send the microtransactions into really unknown areas. And why? because they've been getting so much money from the mobile departments in the mobile phone areas and the smartphones, Apple and all that, that they've finally decided, hey, these people are willing to pay whatever amounts of cash. Fuck them. Fuck them up their ass, and let's get squeeze out as much cash as we can. What are we gonna do? We're gonna put a car up there. I mean, we're gonna put this game, Angry Birds Go, and there's gonna be a lot of microtransactions, which is common for a lot of these cheap free games. And we're gonna probably give some away for free, and maybe even put it up for $2 to $4. And then we're going to put in a fucking car that can beat all the other cars for about $100 fucking. That's not a fucking joke. Oh, and Forza Motorsports 5, they're putting a car in there, a real car. Well, it's a CG car, but based on a real, actual fucking car. And it's going to be, and I don't know what the maker model is, but just go with it. From what I understand, it'll be $75. Forza Motorsports 5 cost $70, and they want you to pay an extra $75 for the ultimate car. This is me after pounding my head into the brick wall, hearing everybody all shocked and surprised, and me being the only person who saw this coming from a mile of fucking way, said, look, stop just handing your money hands to fist over to these people, or they're going to fuck you. And you gotta be careful with Microsoft. When you take something away or force them in a large group, they tend to get pretty vicious and vendettive against you. And then they do something incredibly stupid, like microtransition the hell out of their games. Not they didn't microtransition Dead Rising 3. That game was being published by Capcom for Xbox One exclusively because Capcom's a bunch of fucking idiots. Especially since this game can't run at full fucking frames per second and the resolution is short as hell on the Xbox One. Yeah. They've decided to put an exclusivity on a game, on a console that can barely even run their own fucking game. But then again, after hearing Capcom's profit margin, I wouldn't be shocked to hear that Capcom's gone out of business and selling their IPs to random people. That's not a joke. They are really in the fucking shithole on Capcom. Now, I know what you're wondering. Well, Crimson Dragon and Rise didn't get very good review ratings. Well, yeah, they're shit games. And Crytek just, they made a crappy game demo for Xbox One. For a console that, can barely even run their own Crytek engine, they decided to go with Microsoft and make this piece of shit game. And I think they did it out of the whim, because their original game, which was supposed to all be used with the Kinect, went straight downhill, because if you remember, Kinect games were not selling back then with the Xbox 360. The Kinect games were just flopping one after another, especially with what happened with Steel Battalion Heavy Armor, and not forgetting Star Wars Kinect, which basically became so much of an abomination that motion gaming pretty much died with it. Which was also published by Microsoft, but no, it's not Microsoft's fault. It's Lucas's fault. I mean, it was only Microsoft's programmers that made the fucking game. Or Microsoft who basically, well, some of them, are basically Microsoft who published the fucking thing. Of course, before that, and of course, let's not forget it was also Microsoft who made a bundle with the Star Wars Kinect with an R2-D2 fucking console, like console, and they even did a whole thing when you ejected the disc and turned it on, and he had a C3PO controller with a little design of his circuit board, exposed circuit board that was underneath his chest plate, just like C3PO. So yeah, the controller was like C3PO, the console was like R2D2, and it made all the sounds and everything. And there was even a wording on the console that says, Obi-Wan, you're our only hope. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It wasn't Microsoft's fault for that little mess. And I, like I said, I watched Blockbuster Critics shows for a while on the whole Forza mess, and I knew that game was a mess. And of course, it ended up getting all these high ratings. And none of you understand that this happened before. Dead Space 3. The critics loved the game. Everybody hated the game. It became a commercial flop. Dead Space 4 has been canned because of Dead Space 3. Yeah, and why was Dead Space 3 canned? Microtransition to fucking hell. It happened on Dead Space 3, and it's most likely going to happen on Forza 5. And like I said, when I said the launch lineups in this generation was pretty weak, mostly on Sony's side. And the main reason is because Dead Space. No one's going to give a shit about a Forza 5, especially when the microtransitions come out. I've said this before. And Crimson Dragon, because nobody liked the original, Panzer's Dragon. It wasn't really that much of a hit, and nobody really gave a flying fuck about it. I played the original Panzer Dragon. Don't ask me how. It was not that great of a game. And it's a Sega Dreamcast game, and it just... Why, Microsoft? Why did you make this game? And then you got, Rise. And most people just don't give a rat's ass about new IPs, especially when you microtransaction the hell out of those games. And then, you got to mess with Forza 5, which is an incomplete fucking game. It's not complete. It never was. You had to get an update to complete the fucking game. And then the microtransitions, what I knew was coming, was just they microtransitioned the hell out of the fucking piece of shit game. Why? Because it's crap. That only leaves Capcom's Dead Rising as being the only good game on Xbox One. And Titanfall is just going to fall short because it's already multi-console across the PC and 360. I said all this before. The other Forza games may have been good. I don't know, I never played them. But when I heard that the thing was incomplete and that they were going to put in microtransitions on this, I knew that game was doomed. I knew it was doomed and it was never going to get back up. And don't worry, Sony killed their Gran Turismo too as well, which I never gave a rat's ass about that one either. How? They put it on the PlayStation 3 instead of realizing maybe we should have stuck it on the PS4. Had our programmers, port it to the PS4. And yeah, Gran Turismo, the new Gran Turismo game is going to just go completely unnoticed. And Sony should be slapping themselves in the head for it. But they didn't at least go in the fucking direction that Microsoft went. Yeah, they put it on their Xbox One, but they fucking microtransitioned the hell out of it and didn't even complete the fucking game. It's a mess. The Xbox One is a gigantic mess. And to everybody who bought it, and I'm not going to give it to the reviewers or the people who put up their first impressions, but the people who actually generally bought it, who go with the line of thinking that you can't multiplayer unless you have an Xbox, unless you can't multiplayer unless you stamped owned by Microsoft, Xbox, Live, you're morons. You fucked yourself in every fucking way. And I have zero respect for you people. Zero. None. Sony has gone out of their way to try to get their console back up again after that clusterfuck known as the PlayStation 3. And they're really doing a good job this time around. And as I said, not very many people are going to watch this video because I don't have very many viewers. But, see ya.